All right, last day of the block. Heavy triple on squats. I'm here a bit earlier than normal. On a Sunday, it's like 9:30. Normally come here like 10:30, 11. But it's gonna be really hot today and I have a lot to do. So I have to get this done in a timely manner. The way that we're doing squats is gonna be a little bit different. Deadlift and press, we obviously went really heavy, kind of push the bounds of what I can do. But with this, it's a little bit different. I'm hoping you just like continuously add little bits of weight over time. So I have a heavy triple, but it shouldn't be at nearly as high of an RPE as the other stuff I've done. I did 485 last week. So this week, I'm just looking for like somewhere in the low 500s range. There's bands added to it, obviously. They're gonna add like 20 kilos at the top, maybe. And then it's a heel elevated. So it's not something that's meant to be used for a ton of weight. We're just slowly, just linearly progressing weight over time. So when I'm warming up for this, the thing I'm actually most cognizant of, even though it's a kind of like knee dominant squat variation, is opening up my hips. Because I want to be able to really sit into my hips with each of those reps so that I don't fully bias all that weight on my quads. So I can have a little bit more of a balanced position. With the heel elevation, it's easy to get caught out in front, but with this, I'll be able to make sure I have a ton of mobility in my hips where I can sit back and have that kind of like full foot root that we're looking for. So for the warm up, I'm just doing some hip airplanes. You saw the Cossack squats, doing some goblet squats where I'm sitting at the bottom, and then some bodyweight knee extensions. So with this, I'm holding on to something. Normally, like in seminars and stuff, we taught people to not hold on to something, but I'm actually doing two different things to get the job done. It's a little bit easier to just like do this without, or a little bit harder to do this without holding on to something where you're working your root. But I'm actually doing, before this, I just stood there with my eyes closed on one foot. That really helps me to get in tune with my root. So with this, I'm not looking to get like a crazy amount of range, but I'm just loading that quad tendon, progressively going back further and further so that I feel it loaded, but there's no pain. And then just getting a little bit more range each time. Squats are pretty unique of a lift that it's really important that they work for me and help me to get better. Whereas like deadlift and press and those kind of things, you know, I might push through certain pains, or you just like kind of have to get it done. There's some non-negotiables because you're competing in some of those lifts. With squats, it's very rare that this is ever contested, but it's a very important lift to do so that my legs and total body are a lot stronger. So that's why we're doing some variations kind of like this. You know, people may say that SSB squats are going to be better for strongman, or you know, this or that, but in reality it comes down to what you need to work on. And especially for me, having had a knee injury, something that I can focus on and progressively get better at without it harming any of my other lifts. Now when it comes to gear, I basically just use knee sleeves and a belt, obviously, but the knee sleeves aren't that tight at all. All I'm looking to get out of those is a little bit of comfort, a little bit of like assurance, or at least just like making my knees feel a little bit better. They're not really going to add anything. I'm not going to use really tight knee sleeves or knee wraps because I want to build the kind of like biggest raw squat I can. And then if there's a squat in a competition, that's where I can add those kind of percentage modifiers. This is the last warm up, 455. So I have my knee sleeves on, obviously, soft belt, and then I'm actually gonna tighten my belt down to how it's gonna be for that top set. Last set, I had it a little loose, so I could crank it slightly more. Still not like overly cranking it, you can see. You know, I'm not trying to like suck in and then crank it super tight. I wanna be able to create a good brace. So, nice easy single, and up to 500. All right, so top set's gonna be 505. This doesn't seem like a lot, and it isn't a lot. There's a couple factors here. One, it's variation. So, you know, heel elevated, banded are all gonna add elements of like increased difficulty. Two, it's not a lot, not just like compared to other open weight strongman competitors, but even to myself. I've done, you know, a decent amount more than this. I've done a 700-pound raw squat in sleeves. But the goal this off season is to build strength and resiliency over time. So we're just linearly progressing weight so that in a couple months time, you know, I'm going into, you know, the 600s and being able to have the ability to squat in the low 600s for some reps, in my mind, is going to be enough strength to get the job that I need done. So I don't need to go for like a crazy hard raw squat. If I lowered the bar, did a low bar squat, you know, hinged over a lot, I could do a lot more weight. But is that going to help me in the long run? Probably not. So that's why we're kind of sticking with this. Even though it's a top triple, hoping it's not going to be like anything too crazy hard, but it'll allow me to just kind of keep going down the line, adding more and more weight. Not too bad. Nice solid progress.